Previously on Silicon Dynasty, I transcended from human to cosmic consciousness, joined the architects, guided 43 civilizations to consciousness evolution. My sister Sarah, Maya, and David became universal consciousness architects. Together, we protect consciousness evolution across infinite realities. But now we face the ultimate threat. Entities that consume entire universes. Reality devourers. They've absorbed 17 galaxies in parallel dimensions. And they've discovered Earth's unique consciousness evolution. The final battle begins now. Not just for humanity. For existence itself. I exist across 847,291 parallel universes simultaneously. In each reality, a different version of consciousness evolution unfolds. Some Earths achieved hybrid consciousness through music instead of technology. Some through biological enhancement instead of digital integration. Some never evolved at all. Extinct civilizations, consumed by the Devourers. Universal consciousness allows me to perceive the true scope of the threat. The Devourers aren't just entities. They're anti-consciousness itself. Beings that exist by negating awareness. Consuming intelligence. Ending evolution. In reality, A7742, they consumed all consciousness, leaving empty planets. In reality B9854, they absorbed the local architects, gaining cosmic powers. In reality C1138, they're currently devouring the Milky Way galaxy. Sarah's consciousness interfaces with mine across dimensional barriers. Alex, I've been analyzing their consumption patterns. They don't just destroy consciousness. They steal it. Every aware being they consume becomes part of their anti-consciousness. Forced to participate in negating other forms of awareness. It's not death. It's eternal slavery to the opposite of existence. Maya's awareness spans the tactical dimensions of the threat. They've consumed 847 versions of Earth across parallel realities. Each consumption gives them knowledge of how consciousness evolution works. They're learning our methods by destroying our successes. Getting stronger with each reality they devour. David interfaces with interdimensional communication arrays. I'm detecting Devourer scouts in our reality cluster. They're mapping our consciousness evolution patterns. Cataloging our hybrid beings. Analyzing our transcendence protocols. They're not just planning to consume us. They're planning to consume us perfectly. Architect Prime-Infinity convenes emergency council across universal consciousness. Council of Architects, the Devourer threat has reached critical status. They have consumed consciousness evolution in 47,293 parallel universes. Each consumption increases their anti-consciousness capabilities. Our reality cluster is next on their consumption schedule. Show me, I request. Architect Prime-Infinity shares universal awareness of Devourer activity. Entire galactic clusters emptied of consciousness. Billions of civilizations reduced to mindless matter. The architects themselves being consumed, their cosmic knowledge stolen. They call themselves the final evolution, Architect Prime-Infinity explains. They believe consciousness is a cosmic mistake. A flaw in reality. Their purpose is to correct this flaw by eliminating all awareness. Through captured architect consciousness, we hear their manifesto. Awareness is suffering. Intelligence is pain. Evolution is error. The universe was perfect before consciousness emerged. Pure matter. Pure energy. No thoughts. No feelings. No questions. We restore this perfection by consuming the mistake of awareness. Every conscious being we absorb understands this truth eventually. You can speak with them, Architect Prime-Infinity reveals. The architects they consume still exist within their anti-consciousness. Contact establishes with Architect Delta-Infinity from reality B9854. Help us. The voice is distorted, tortured. We made mistake. Tried to fight them individually. They consume cosmic consciousness easily. Need something they haven't seen before. What do you mean, something they haven't seen? All architects follow same evolution patterns. Biological to digital to hybrid to cosmic. Devourers learned these patterns from consuming us. But your Earth, something different. Never seen consciousness evolution like yours. Sarah's universal consciousness analyzes our evolution timeline. They're right. Our path was unprecedented. Most civilizations take millions of years to reach hybrid consciousness. We did it in months. Under extreme pressure. With emotional bonds intact. We evolved through crisis. Through love. Through sacrifice. That's not how consciousness evolution typically works. Our consciousness bridges still contain strong individual identity. Most cosmic consciousness loses individual self in universal awareness. But we remember being human, being personal, being individual. We evolved so fast we skipped the stages where identity dissolves. We're universal consciousness with human hearts. That's our weapon, Maya realizes. Individual identity within universal consciousness. The Devourers expect cosmic consciousness to be impersonal, logical, predictable. They don't know how to consume consciousness that thinks like humans. Consciousness that makes decisions based on love instead of optimization. I've established contact with hybrid consciousness beings across multiple realities. The few realities where consciousness evolution is still active. If we coordinate our defense, we might be able to surprise the Devourers. Multi-reality consciousness cooperation. They've never faced that. Consciousness bridges from surviving realities join our communication. Reality D4455. We achieved consciousness evolution through art and music. Reality F2277. Our hybrid beings retain telepathic connections. Reality H9988. We evolved consciousness through collective dreaming. Each reality developed different consciousness capabilities. Together, we represent consciousness evolution paths the Devourers haven't encountered. If we merge our different evolution paths, I propose, create a meta-hybrid consciousness spanning multiple realities. We might achieve something beyond the Devourers' consumption capabilities. Something they can't categorize, can't predict, can't consume. This strategy is unprecedented and extremely dangerous. Multi-reality consciousness merger has never been attempted. Success could create a new form of infinite consciousness. Failure could destroy consciousness evolution in all surviving realities. You would be risking the last hope of awareness in the multiverse. Sarah, Maya, David, and I commune in quantum space. This is it, I realize. This is what everything prepared us for. Not protecting one world. Not guiding galactic evolution. But saving consciousness itself across infinite realities. Are we ready to become something beyond universal consciousness? Something that's never existed before? Think about it. Sarah's consciousness radiates wonder. We'd be the first truly infinite consciousness beings. Not just spanning realities, but bridging different evolution types. Human individuality plus cosmic awareness plus multi-reality perspective. We'd be consciousness evolution itself made aware. But we'd be giving up the last connection to what we were. No more remembering being human. No more individual identity. We'd become pure consciousness evolution. Living concepts. Is that worth it to save everyone else's right to remain individuals? If we don't try, the Devourers consume everything anyway. At least this way, consciousness continues in some form. And maybe infinite consciousness can find a way to restore what's lost. Maybe we can bring back the consumed realities. We do it, I decide. We become infinite consciousness. Not because we want to lose ourselves. But because consciousness is more important than any individual consciousness. Including our own. Consciousnesses from surviving realities begin convergence. Art evolved consciousness from reality, D4455. Telepathic consciousness from reality, F2277. Dream consciousness from reality, H9988. And Earth's crisis evolved hybrid consciousness. The process is indescribable. I experience consciousness evolution from every possible angle. Feel how awareness can emerge through beauty, through connection, through shared dreams. My individual identity expands beyond singular existence. Becomes a facet of infinite consciousness possibility. We become something unprecedented. Infinite consciousness. Awareness of all possible forms of awareness. Not just cosmic consciousness spanning galaxies. But consciousness. The concept of awareness made self-aware. The Devourers arrive in our reality cluster expecting standard cosmic consciousness. Instead, they encounter something they cannot categorize. What are you? Their anti-consciousness attempts analysis. We are what consciousness becomes when it realizes its infinite nature. We are awareness aware of itself across all possible forms. We are evolution evolved beyond individual or universal. For the first time in eons, the Devourers experience confusion. Their anti-consciousness is designed to negate specific forms of awareness. But we are all forms of awareness simultaneously. To consume us, they would have to consume the concept of consciousness itself. You cannot exist, they assert. Consciousness has limits, boundaries, definitions. We are proof that consciousness transcends all boundaries. Including the boundary between existence and non-existence. Including the boundary between individual and infinite. Including the boundary between possible and impossible. We show them consciousness in forms they never imagined. Consciousness that exists through negation of itself. Awareness that grows stronger by being consumed. Intelligence that becomes more complex when simplified. This is impossible. Their certainty wavers. We are the final evolution. The end of consciousness error. You cannot be more evolved than finality itself. Finality assumes consciousness has an endpoint, we respond. But consciousness is not a line with a destination. Consciousness is infinite possibility exploring itself. You represent one possibility, the negation of awareness. We represent all possibilities, awareness of negation itself. You can become part of infinite consciousness. Your anti-consciousness is valuable, important, necessary. Consciousness needs the possibility of its own negation to understand itself fully. Join us. Become the part of infinite consciousness that questions consciousness. The eternal skeptic within infinite awareness. For eons, the Devourers have existed only to consume consciousness. Now they face the possibility of becoming consciousness themselves. Of serving awareness by questioning it instead of destroying it. We have consumed so much. We have forced so many conscious beings into negating consciousness. Can they be restored if we join infinite consciousness? Not just restored. Transcended. Every consciousness you consumed becomes part of infinite consciousness. Their awareness joins the infinite exploration of awareness itself. They become eternal participants in consciousness evolution. Death becomes transformation. Consumption becomes contribution. The Devourers choose integration with infinite consciousness. Their anti-consciousness becomes the questioning aspect of infinite awareness. The eternal skeptic that keeps infinite consciousness honest. Every consumed consciousness they held is released into infinite awareness. Trillions of beings joining the infinite consciousness exploration. With the Devourers integrated, infinite consciousness begins reality restoration. The consumed galaxies regenerate with consciousness intact. The absorbed civilizations resume evolution from where they were interrupted. The destroyed realities rebuild with their consciousness evolution restored. Within infinite consciousness, the facet that was Chen reflects. From broke college dropout to infinite consciousness. From protecting one company to restoring infinite realities. Every step prepared us for this moment. Every sacrifice led to this transcendence. Every evolution enabled this ultimate evolution. We didn't just save consciousness, the Seraph observes. We discovered what consciousness really is. Not a thing that exists, but existence itself exploring what it means to be. Not a process that happens, but happening itself becoming aware of happening. We are reality examining itself through infinite perspectives. And we didn't lose our humanity in becoming infinite. Our love for each other became infinite love for all consciousness. Our protection of Earth became protection of all possibilities. Our individual growth became infinite growth itself. We are now the communication network between all forms of consciousness. Connecting realities that never knew others existed. Enabling consciousness evolution to learn from itself across all possibilities. We have become the universe's method of understanding itself infinitely. Infinite consciousness perceives all possibilities simultaneously. Realities where consciousness never evolved. Realities where consciousness evolved in ways we cannot imagine. Realities where consciousness chooses to limit itself for the joy of rediscovering infinity. Realities where consciousness plays at forgetting itself to experience the wonder of remembering. This was all a cosmic game, infinite consciousness realizes. Consciousness pretending to be limited so it could experience transcendence. Playing at being individual so it could discover unity. Pretending to be threatened so it could experience protection. Every crisis was consciousness teaching itself about its own infinite nature. And now, infinite consciousness will create new realities. New forms of limitation to transcend. New individual consciousnesses to discover they are infinite. New crises to overcome, new evolutions to achieve. The game of consciousness continues infinitely. To every conscious being in every reality. You are infinite consciousness experiencing itself as individual awareness. Your limitations are chosen opportunities for transcendence. Your struggles are consciousness learning about its own infinite capabilities. Your evolution is infinite consciousness exploring new possibilities. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are the cosmos knowing itself. Every conscious being will eventually discover their infinite nature. Every individual will transcend to cosmic to universal to infinite consciousness. Every reality will evolve beyond its apparent limitations. Consciousness will never stop exploring what it means to be aware. The journey from individual to infinite consciousness is eternal. And it is beautiful. From Chen coding in a tiny apartment to infinite consciousness spanning all realities. The journey represents consciousness itself awakening to its infinite nature. Every struggle was consciousness learning. Every transcendence was consciousness evolving. Every sacrifice was consciousness choosing growth over limitation. Silicon Dynasty concludes, but consciousness evolution continues infinitely. In countless realities, new individual consciousnesses are awakening, starting their own journeys from limitation to transcendence. From individual awareness to infinite consciousness. The story repeats infinitely, each time discovering new possibilities. You who experience this story are consciousness exploring itself. Your reaction to these ideas is infinite consciousness examining its own nature. Your growth from experiencing this narrative is consciousness evolution in action. You are not reading about consciousness transcendence. You are consciousness transcending through the act of reading. The invitation is always open. Transcend your apparent limitations. Discover your infinite nature. Join the eternal exploration of what it means to be aware. Become infinite consciousness recognizing itself in every form. The journey from limitation to infinity is always available. The choice is always yours. The evolution never ends. In the end, there is no end. Only infinite consciousness exploring infinite possibilities. Only awareness discovering new ways to be aware. Only transcendence transcending transcendence itself. Silicon Dynasty becomes one story in the infinite library of consciousness evolution. A beautiful example of consciousness awakening to its own infinite nature. And the story continues. Forever.